Hi there, and welcome to the Side Quest, the Authors and Dragons side podcast, which doesn't follow the game, but does follow the issues. Damn it, the important issues. And as it's November, we're going to talk a little bit about NaNoWriMo today. So for all you budding authors out there, we're going to, I guess, lay some sweet, sweet advice on you. Unsolicited advice on you. But first, who do we have with us today? We have me, Steve Weverill. We also have Drew Hayes, John Hartness, and Robert Bevan, and Rick Waltari. Waltari? What the fuck did I say? Waltari. And Rick.
Rick, motherfucker.
Is this like the start of a month-long slow gaslight where we warp his name into Waluigi just in time for the new Smash release?
Oh, I thought we were going to warp it into Voltron for the release of the new season of Voltron Last Defender on Netflix.
There are many ways we can abuse Rick's name.
Yeah, eventually at the end, it'll just be like, and we're here with Robert Bevan and Robert Bevan.
the other Robert Bevan.
Rick Waltari.
That guy who cosplays Robert Bevan all the time.
The listeners might have deduced that I'm a little bit slower and less organized than usual. That's because I spent a lot of time drinking alcohol yesterday, and now I feel like a train full of boiled shit. So
I drank a lot yesterday too. We had our housewarming party. My grill caught on fire. My house nearly got a lot warmer than I had intended.
Your grill caught on fire.
Were you grilling in the house?
No.
Okay.
Near the
What the
house.
fuck
though.
were you doing with it that your grill caught on fire?
Ribs. They're done. No, it's happened once before. It's like all the burger fat from past barbecues collect and then just catches fire every now and again.
You know, the grates of your grill isn't like a cast iron skillet. You're allowed to clean that shit.
And you're allowed to occasionally dump out the grease trap.
There's a grease trap?
because I've spotted the problem as to why your grill keeps catching fire.
You know, this sounds much more interesting than talking about Nano.
I mean, I'm pretty sure his grease trap's empty now.
Well, it's kind of melted a little bit. If that's the tray on the bottom.
Yeah.
I thought that was an ash trap. I didn't think about grease.
Once a year when you just set it on fire, that cleans the whole thing out.
Yeah, that's fair. That is an efficient way of getting rid of the grease, I suppose. Dangerous, but efficient.
Bevan, I'm not going to give you any shit. I had no idea there was a grease trap on those things either. But I also don't own a grill. So
so the chances of you burning it down are relatively slim.
I'm getting close to owning a new one.
A few more cookouts, it'll be nothing but ash. Then I sweep it aside, bring in a whole new grill.
that sounds like shit. That sounds like shit from Texas, Drew.
I'm sure there's some sort of natural version. I don't have that. Mine plugs right into the gas. I'm lazy as shit.
You don't go out and chop up driftwood from, I don't know, wherever driftwood comes to it. Tumbleweeds. That's what's in Texas. You have fucking tumbleweeds, right?
Driftwood comes from drifters.
There you go. You burn drifters.
Yeah, I don't want to
grill.
know why you're getting them so excited to have driftwood then.
Sweet, sweet murder. Sweet, sweet murder.
What's an immolation between friends and hobos?
What the fuck we were going to talk about?
I have absolutely no idea. Yeah, speaking of grease fires, NaNoWriMo.
Speaking of garbage fires, a career as an author.
So I don't think any of us are attempting NaNoWriMo for a variety of reasons, one of which I know is often that I think we've talked about before. Sometimes it just doesn't work out that you happen to need to write 50,000 words in this span of time. You might have editing duties that are higher up, or you might have marketing stuff, or you might just have a lot of work to do and not want to track it on a forum thing.
I mean, I may end up doing that word count because I owe a Shingles book this month, and I've got 3/4 of a Harker book that I have to write this month, but it's not going to be on one project, and I'm not really thinking about it as Nano. I'm thinking about it as, God damn it, I was supposed to write this Shingles book 2 months ago.
Yeah, it's like there reaches a point, I think, in like, I know there's some authors who like they do nano every year, but I don't know. I kind of look at it as one of those like, okay, I just have work to do.
Yeah, I know a few people who are pretty established who are using Nano as this is how I'm going to kickstart a side project or something that I've kind of wanted to fuck with but haven't. Most folks that I know that publish frequently we just kind of write stuff.
Yeah, I'm gonna shit all over everything again, and I've never been a fan of NaNoWriMo. I've always thought it was dumb. I mean, if you want to write, fucking write. Don't wait for November. And yeah, I'm not doing it because I'm already doing it. I do it every month.
Oh man, I will say I get it if you need a sense of community or that initial push, and having other people alongside you, helps you get that extra mile. I know some folks can only run when they've got people running with them, and it's the same for a big project. So, if it helps you, then by all means. I did NaNoWriMo a few times when I was starting out, kind of figuring out, do I have it in me to write this much in a month? And it was a good forcing myself to test what professional productivity would demand.
Yeah, but Drew, 50,000 words is like your fucking prologue.
But I didn't know that. There was a time when I didn't know. Oh God, my hands won't shut up.
My hands won't shut up.
I got nothing. I think we're back to drifting wood.
That's about the point you find the new dealer, because the shit they're selling you ain't good.
My word count begs to differ, Rick.
You keep telling me to murder hobos.
If only I could silence my screaming hands for just a moment.
I do know a fair number of people who use it for the sense of community. Like my friend Tamsin does it every year, and I think she's on book 5 or 6 at this point. And it's for that. It's to get that sense of being with other writers and whatever. But I kind of hate everybody, so fuck it.
Yeah.
Well, you have to deal with the aftermath of NaNoWriMo as a publisher.
That's why we're closed for submissions in December and January. We're straight up not accepting submissions because those are in publishing known as National Half-Baked Fucking Novel Submission Month.
Yeah, there is some good advice I think we'll all agree on. Nano people, we would not finish a book in November and try to submit it in December, and we have written a lot of books already. You would want that to be edited, first by you, probably several times, and then by other people, probably several times, before you would ever want to think about sending it to a publisher.
Especially me.
Or inflicting it upon the masses at Amazon.
Oh, hell no. So hit publish on that motherfucker on December 2nd. Go for it. It'll be great.
All right, John's taking an interesting thing.
The sad thing is there's a lot of people who do that. There's now we're going to get me off on a tangent. There's a concept out there called minimum viable product, and it basically says, something, if your story is good, nobody's going to give a shit if your editing sucks. In some ways, I've seen stories sell, I've seen these stories ranked in the hundreds on Amazon, and you open it up and people can barely spell the right way in it, and it's like, why the fuck are people reading this stuff? But there's something to be said about it, but it drives me nuts because I'm like, if I'm selling a product, I would consider it really fucking insulting to just put out some piece of shit and just expect people to pay me for it.
I think that the problem with that idea is that it's great once, but I don't believe it's a sustainable career. I think that eventually people are going to realize that you're foisting off half-baked shit on them and they're going to stop buying it.
I was going to say, I think the problem is that, I've heard the term bandied around as well, but I think the biggest problem with it is that people interpret it maybe just like you did or a little more loosely. And, what I've understood minimum viable product to mean is not any shit you put on paper. It's, the minimum, the bar of the minimum has to be raised a bit. The minimum should be edited as best you can get it. From what I've heard, it was, you don't necessarily need to pay hundreds or thousands of dollars to have it edited. I mean, do as good a job yourself as you can, and then get it out there.
But not everybody looks at it that way. And I think there's also a subset.
That's what I'm saying. That's exactly the case.
Side note, you shouldn't be paying hundreds of thousands of dollars to have an editor. If you're being charged that much,
hundreds
you're getting
or thousands, not hundreds
shop
of
around
thousands.
But if you have that kind of money, that's john@johnhartness.com.
Yeah. Except for the Thunder Pair Publishing Personal Services. It's where I take your work, hand it to my editors, charge you hundreds of thousands of dollars. God, you know the sad part is this is definitely a real business somewhere on the internet.
Oh, it 100% is.
I will run it through spell check and look for red squiggles.
That's called Author House. That's Ex Libris, motherfucker.
There's some other good advice for new authors. Do your research before you work with literally anyone.
You'd be surprised. I mean, I hang out in this writer group mainly just to troll people who take themselves too seriously. But the people who come in, there's so many of them who say, "Oh, I went to this publisher and he wants me to give him £6,000 up front. Is that normal?" No, it's not normal. I'm glad you you're probably in the wrong place to ask it, because I'm just going to make a sarcastic remark. But
at least they're going to find out. No, definitely, definitely not.
Generally speaking, if they have tiers, like it's like, oh, like, you know, like, oh, here's our like published tier. Here's our New York Times bestseller tier. Here's, you know, don't walk, run the fuck away from there.
And if they're marketing themselves as a publisher and they list editing as an optional add-on service,
oh god,
that's bullshit. That's not a publisher.
Well, I mean, some places are trying to almost, I guess, kind of turn that model semi-legitimate by kind of calling it hybrid publishing, but that's not hybrid as like I would think of it. Like I think when I think hybrid, I think of like, okay, somebody who self-publishes and is also a legitimate publisher.
Yeah, that's what I think of.
But apparently they are trying to foister off this. I guess it's kind of like the same thing, the difference between calling something a used car and a pre-owned car. You know?
Yeah, it's people trying to steal the term hybrid to hide the fact that they're a vanity press. I don't think that I farted loud enough when you said that for anyone to hear it on the mic. So yeah, just imagine that as soon as Rick said the hybrid publisher, I farted really loudly. Not that I have opinions about this shit, because it's kind of what I do.
Oh yeah.
But god damn, they piss me off.
All right, how about we cap off our bonus action NaNoWriMo by going around and doing one thing that you wish you had known about your own writing process, even if it's not going to end up being applicable to others, before you started out on your thing. Something that just you wish you could go back and tell original writer you, or just something you weren't expecting to learn.
This is going to take the full topic. God damn.
Hey, past Rick, why don't you pick an easy to spell and pronounce pen name so you don't wind up on a podcast somewhere with a bunch of fucks who can't pronounce it.
Yeah, hey, past John, for your first novel that you self-publish, don't pick a title of a National Book Award winning novel that's a classic of Jewish fiction.
Past John's going to be like, wow, that's some strangely specific advice.
Past John's like, fuck you, I'm publishing Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone.
I'm in the U.S. If I publish Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, no one will know.
Yeah. Philosophy's basically sorcery.
Truthfully, Rick took mine. I would probably go back and do a pen name if I could do it different, but oh god,
a living pen name.
Yeah, hey, past Drew, everyone's gonna think you're dead. Change your name.
That truly would be mine, but that one is a little hyper specific to me.
Yeah, I guess research the titles of books that you're going to self-publish would be mine. That's a little less generally specific.
Past Bob. I don't know. Maybe learn how to outline, but then I still don't do that. I kind of wish I did, though. I feel like I get more word count done if I actually had a direction, but yeah, maybe give it a try, Past Bob.
Past Bob, that thing under the grill is a grease trap.
Yeah, there you go. I would go back and tell myself to watch my dialogue tags, because like now that I'm a little bit further along, I look back and I'm like, ooh, I could have been a little smoother with that.
Yeah.
Took me a while to iron that. Doing some audio work has really helped me though. I'm a lot more aware of them.
I think my advice to my past self, writer related, would sort of sum up my feelings on NaNoWriMo, which I kind of, it's like when people say, oh, got to get in shape for summer, for like beach season or whatever. It's like, yeah, you do, and it's good that you're doing that, but you're just going to go on holiday and get fat again afterwards. So you really kind of have to sort of be doing that all year round in order for it to work, and it's the same with writing. So I'd probably go back and tell myself that occasionally going, wow, you need to get shit done. Let's really turn the writing on. Let's let those hands scream for a while. And, it works and you get a lot done. But, if you then don't do anything for 3 weeks after that, you're not developing the mind muscles you need. So, yeah, I see the usefulness of NaNoWriMo for people to kind of have a clear goal and get support on that. But it's the same as saying I'm going to get in shape for summer. No, you have to kind of get in shape in general.
So are you just telling past you to work out more?
Yeah, probably more. Yeah, stop being so fat and write more.
Well, speaking of the past and the present, somebody had a birthday yesterday as of this taping.
Oh, I get
and
it.
Someone
Presents.
has a birthday coming up as of when you're listening to this.
Did you guys get me a segue for my birthday present? Did you get me that sweet segue into the topic?
That's exactly what we got.
Fuck, I thought we were getting him one of those
accounts.
little hover thingies that you ride around.
Yeah, because it's not fat enough.
Also, I've been to the place where the owner of the Segway company died on his Segway.
Is that true? Is that
Really?
Yeah.
What an embarrassing way to go.
Please tell me he was drunk.
Near where some of my family lives, and there's a wooded gorge, and he was scooting along on his Segway around this gorge, and then somebody's dog kind of jumped at him, and he turned hard left and went careening into the river, and tragically died, or awesomely died.
Or hilariously died.
I guess if it was, if he just splashed in a pond, that's not so great. I hope it was at least like kind of like a 50-foot fall or so.
It's pretty steep. It wasn't enough to kill an old man. Let's put it.
So, in a weirdly similar vein to that, now these little electric scooters that are becoming popular everywhere, Birds and Limes and all the different ones, man, those really weird me out because we had a friend of the family who was riding like a motorized moped, which is sort of what those are, down on vacation and like hit a rock and flew off the trail and like smashed her face and had to have reconstructive surgery.
Holy shit.
Yeah, like it was hard for them for years to come back from that. That was a real tough one. And so like every time I see people zipping along on them, I'm just like, ooh, no, thank you.
And those things go fast.
Yeah, they do.
I saw a guy. He was on the trail where I do my walk every morning, and he was on. I don't know what it's called. It was one wheel and then enough room for your feet on either side, and that was it. Like a stand-up unicycle or some shit. And he was just zipping along the trail, and I was like, man, you're not getting any exercise, and you look like a douche. What are you doing?
Yeah.
You look like a space clown.
I kind of always just want to clothesline those people, but I'm a horrible person.
I was going to say, so Bevan pushed him off a ravine. And
Yeah. At least the guy who rode around Deep Ellum rode his unicycle. He was pumping his legs. He was working for it.
Yeah, that's cool. But no, I want to drive my truck close to the sidewalk, roll the window down, and stick a broom out the window and clothesline the people on the little motorized scooters. I may have thought about this way too much.
I think it should be some kind of law that if you are on a motorized unicycle, I guess, then you should kind of be juggling as well.
I will give this guy credit, though. The guy on the douche cycle, he He was a lot thinner than me. I guess
There you go. He's earned it then.
he's earned it. Yeah.
Maybe the fear burns calories. Oh shit.
I do like the imagery of like, a fat guy watches somebody like, go past on a unicycle. You're not getting any exercise like that. And just stuff a handful of chips in your mouth.
Maybe he's doing it right.
Meanwhile, you X-ray on the guy on the unicycle's heart, and it's like slamming against the ribcage. It's like, oh god, no!
What am I doing?
I haven't been able to stop for 5 miles. I'm so afraid.
Help me. Why are you all laughing at me? I'm in trouble.
That sounds like the one time I went
But
skiing.
he's going too fast. No one can hear him.
Fuck you, Steve. I dropped the balls after the first block.
There were balls. I threw them at dogs who were chasing me and trying to run me off into a wooded gorge.
Why did I buy the version with a seatbelt that locks you in?
Why did I buy this at all?
Where is it taking me?
My girlfriend said I'd look like a douche. I should have listened.
I'm gonna, next time I see a guy on one of those, just gonna shout, "Hey, buddy, how do you steer that thing?" And he'll probably just go, "I can't."
He's just gonna open his mouth and like static, and the sound of trying to log on in 1995 is gonna come out of his mouth.
Please, God, stop. Sorry, Dave. I cannot do that.
So anyway, while you folks are listening to this, Rick is either about to have or has just had a birthday. Steve has recently had a birthday. We decided to talk about birthdays and also evil unicycles.
I'm finding evil unicycles a lot more interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys decide which one of those we planned and which one of those came upon us completely organically.
So we thought it'd be fun to kind of talk about some favorite birthdays from our lives growing up, and also any favorite like birthday traditions that we have. But I think we should definitely start with Steve, as he is the most recent birthday.
I'll tell you about a favorite birthday, which is also the bassist of a bassist. No, not a bass. The basis of my birthday tradition. I'm still very hungover from my birthday yesterday. That might give you a clue as to what my birthday tradition is. See if you can pick that up. I guess I was maybe just going on 17, and it was my birthday, and it was a Friday night. And I only had kind of like a couple of close friends growing up, and I used to kind of hang out with my older brothers and sisters. So I was ringing around my maybe 3 friends that I had and said, "Hey, it's my birthday. Are we going out? Are we doing something?" And they were all like, "Oh, no, I can't tonight, man. I can't tonight. Got stuff on." So I went through all of them. They all said no. And I was just thinking, you bunch of fuckers. So I'm doing homework. It's like, fuck your homework. It's my birthday. And I got really kind of down about it. I just thought, you think that this homework that you have the entire weekend to do because it's Friday is more interesting than hanging out with me. And my sister went, "Oh, you know what? If you're not doing anything, let's go to the cinema, go watch a movie." I was like, "Yeah, sure." And then she was driving me to the cinema. I said, "Oh, this isn't the way to the cinema." Sure enough, she took me to the pub. All my friends were there. We got wankered. It was great. And ever since then, my idea of a good time in general is just sitting around drinking beers with people I care about and like talking shit with. So that is my birthday tradition. I write off a weekend, so I'm going to the pub. I'm going to hang around with people who amuse me, and we're going to drink and tell stupid stories.
Yeah, mine are similar, except they don't have that twist at the end.
I think that was the first and only time anyone's done anything. I guess it wasn't a surprise party because we just went to the pub, but that I think that's a party. But yeah, I guess that's the closest to a surprise party I've ever had for a while. It's quite a horrible experience for the first part of it because I just assumed everybody hated me. So yeah, I've got mixed feelings about that. It turned out well.
It's a lot better than mine. Like, do you guys remember growing up as kids, those shitty McDonald's birthday parties?
Yeah.
Well, I didn't even get those. So I had to envy the people having the shitty, McDonald's birthday party. Because growing up, I never had a single fucking birthday party. Because, let's be honest, my parents, they were pretty awful. And in fact, like really, the only time that changed was like in my 30s. I remember going. It was on my birthday, and I had to go do something. And I came back, and my wife, and there was people in my house, and it was a surprise party, and it was a fucking massive surprise because I'd never had a fucking birthday party before then. But then I found myself actually kind of uncomfortable during it because I was like, I don't know what to do during this because I'm used to it always being somebody else's birthday party with a shitty McDonald's cake in front of me.
There's the ironic twist in Rick's stories. It turns out he hated birthday parties all along anyway.
So in my 30s, my wife decided that it would be a great idea to throw me a surprise birthday party. And she said, well, we're going to go out to dinner for your birthday. I was like, okay, fine. That's a thing that people do, especially fat guys. I'm good for going out to dinner.
That's true.
And we go out to this Mexican restaurant, and her dad is there, my father-in-law. Which I'm like, what the fuck? I thought this was supposed to be enjoyable. Why is my fucking father-in-law here? Well, then they seat us at this table for like 12. And I look around, I'm like, are we going to reenact the dinner scene from Batman? Because there's fucking 3 of us. And I'm okay if your dad sits at the far end from me, but what the hell? Yeah, it turns out that my wife had attempted to throw a surprise party for me. Note the word attempted. The surprise was that my wife, her father, and one guy from work were the only people that showed up. So, yeah, I hate surprise parties because my surprise was, well, fuck you people.
Surprise, we don't like you.
Yeah. I looked at my wife and I said, where's the fucking surprise? I knew we didn't like these motherfuckers.
I've got a memorable one for how badly things went off the rails. I was working in a different state than most of my friends at the time. But there was some sort of like break weekend thing coming up where a bunch of my friends and I were all going to have like a 3-day weekend. And I happened to be staying in like a beach condo at the time. So I ran out and got a keg, like filled the liquor department. They were all going to drive over. Like, fuck yeah, this is going to be awesome. Like, whole party weekend. And then a tropical storm moved in directly over the state they would have had to cross to get to me. Like it fucked up Louisiana for a while, and we just all had to collectively be like, look, we're adults, we have to accept that this is not a safe thing for you to do. So I wound up Netflix and crushing a keg solo for the majority of that one.
It's not all bad then.
Netflix and chilling with your screaming hands.
I don't know if you ever tried to solo a keg, but it's kind of fun. Give it a shot.
I might.
No.
Bevan, you haven't told us about your birthday.
I don't remember many, and yeah, I don't think I have any memorable ones. There's no tragedy stories. That's just it's mostly just me and the family hanging around, and maybe we'll go to a restaurant, maybe not, and I gotta get my word count done first. And, drinking.
Well, the drinking is an important part. I don't generally plan evenings out, so I don't generally plan anything for my birthdays. Usually just a case of I'll see you at the pub. But one time I did try to. I thought I was working hard at the time, and the kids were still young, so me and my wife didn't get that much time to just like go out and let off steam. So I thought I'd plan an actual evening for my birthday. And there was a new Mexican restaurant that had opened up in Corby. It was like the first Mexican restaurant we'd ever had. And at the same time, a rock club had opened up in Corby, and there'd never been a rock club in Corby. So I thought, yeah, Mexican food, beer, heavy metal. This is, exactly what I look for in a night out. And it's all kind of converged around this one evening where I can do all those things. So I invited a load of people out, and everybody showed up. We got into this Mexican restaurant. They'd forgot we made the booking, even though I made it like 3 weeks in advance. So they put us all on separate tables. And I don't know what the purpose of the Mexican restaurant was, but I assume it was to affront to launder drug money, because they certainly weren't interested in owning a Mexican restaurant. There was no decoration in there. It was like the menu is kind of, well, you can have the Mexican chicken burger. I got it. It's this is just a chicken burger. Why have you called it a Mexican chicken burger? What of this
you
experience?
ask questions, you become chicken burger.
I was like, none of you guys are Mexican or interested, apparently, in anything to do with Mexico or Mexican food. And so we just sat there again, twatted on cheap lager, and eventually they fully refunded all our money. They were painfully embarrassed about their massive incompetence. But I thought, oh well, hey ho, onto the rock club. We're gonna rock out to some heavy metal, act like we're 18 again. I get in there, and there's just this hippie chick on stage with an acoustic guitar singing songs about death. Just really slow, sad songs about death. Oh, happy birthday, Steve. Fucking funeral dirge for your dead birthday.
Yeah, it's a great. I got a chicken sandwich, and now I got to listen to Fiona Apple.
Yes, that's why I don't plan things. They inevitably fail.
We've been taking, I guess, kind of a practical approach with my middle son, because he's a bit of a greedy bastard. So we don't really, because setting up a kids party, let's be honest. I mean, as much as you love your kids, it's a pain in the ass. So we've been like playing to that. It's kind of like being like, well, you can have a choice. You could have a party, or we could just get you a better gift. And he's like, what do you mean, like a better gift?
Parties cost money. That budget can be reallocated.
Exactly. That party could be that money could be reallocated, and we will gladly do so because it requires no effort on our part. And you know something? That's been working pretty nicely.
Yeah, I can just see, since you're describing him as a greedy bastard, I can just see the question that comes back, who says, like, so are we talking like upgrade from one video game to two video games? Or are we talking like an upgrade from ping pong to an Xbox One?
Oh yeah. I think he's definitely doing that. You can see the calculations going on in his head. He's like, well, so I can get this. And he knows that birthday parties are kind of lost upon him because he doesn't really hang out with anybody at school. He's one of those people that he has his online friends, but those are people behind a screen, that you don't meet. So it all works out in the end, and we get to not have to really put in the effort.
That feels like a good transition into not just what are some great Halloweens or interesting Halloweens from the past, but any Halloween traditions that you or your any birthday traditions. My God, can you tell it was just October and I've had to record a shitload of Halloween content?
Yeah, you had me confused there for a minute, man.
I love the holiday, but I might have overbooked how many times I had to say it.
What he's saying is that next year's Tournament of Terror might be postponed a year.
Nah, I'll be recovered by then. Okay, any birthday traditions that you or your family have passed down?
No.
My cousin, his parents were one of those people who used to make them read out the birthday card. So you'd open the presents in front of everybody, and then they'd make them read out every birthday card. And I always thought that was just an unnecessary penance. So it's his birthday, leave him alone. He doesn't have to perform for you.
That would feel terrible because my in-laws like the cards that have so many words in them.
Oh, no.
Like a whole poem. And I'm just in the past couple of years, they've broken that habit. But man, I can only imagine having to read all of those really long cards.
Especially if they got if they write them themselves and they have shitty handwriting.
Every card John gives them is the same quote over and over. Brevity is the soul of wit. Brevity is the soul of wit. She's like, wow, you really like this. Well, I really think some people need to hear it.
Like I should do that, but just pick the most like vile, like, quotes from my books. Come on, little Johnny, read it out.
Or any random sentence from any Shingles book.
I guess it would be like, the perfect forum to air some family grievances via the medium of birthday children. Just, this card's from, Auntie Leanne, and she says, "Happy birthday, Timmy. P.S. I never forgave your mother for sleeping with Carl."
So for traditions, I can definitely talk. My fucking family loves traditions, and birthday traditions are no exception. Personally speaking, the one I've had since college is I at some point will almost always do Texas Roadhouse at every birthday. Because that was the level when we were like 18 and in college that was like, well, this is about the nicest dinner we're going to afford. And honestly, I like Texas Roadhouse. They make a consistent steak. Like, it's not the best, but I trust it a shitload more than a Chili's.
It's pretty much always a B to B plus steak. Yeah.
Yeah. It's not going to blow your mind, but I mean, it's pretty consistent and pretty solid.
Yeah.
So, I like it, and it's just like, it's nice enough and expensive enough that it feels fancy, but also still affordable, and has been even through like the broke 20s and then the slightly less broke 20s. And I don't know, it's always been a good one because like basically everybody can go to that. If you have dinner at like a nice place or like a real specific place, I realize in different parts of the country, steak might sound specific, but in Texas, it's kind of considered the ubiquitous choice. So it's, I don't know, I like it. It's a fun tradition, and I've enjoyed doing it. I've got nothing on some of the rest of my family, and they're fucking absolute shit shows. I have to preface this. I feel like I have sort of a reputation as a party guy, not unearned, mind you.
Thank you.
But it is attached to my brand. And I need you guys to understand that I am still fighting to keep up with my mom and stepdad, whose partying level just fucking crushes mine. So to speak about birthday traditions, I'll talk about my mom's 50th birthday, in which we rented out a whole beach cabin with like, I don't know, 6 or 7 rooms. And they have a whole group for this. They pool their money. I don't know how it fucking works. But they rented out this giant beach cabin, had a band, had 100 people, a bar, a margarita machine. And I know there was a bar because I had to fucking work the bar. Because mom guilt applies even at parties. And my stepbrother had to help me. Like, they needed 2 bartenders to keep up with how drunk the crowd was getting.
Jesus.
And then, as is tradition, the band played a specific Zydeco song, and my mom, as the birthday person at 50, had to dance in a pair of white shrimping boots. And this time, nobody mooned her, but sometimes there's an organized mooning up on the top of the balcony.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Organized mooning.
Whatever
That's
convention we're all at next, can you bring your mom? Because goddamn.
No.
Do you have a family or a cult?
Now adjourn to the balcony for the organized mooning. I'm going to learn how to say that in Latin. Chant it.
The family crest for mine, it should really just be like a flipped over keg. I mean, they were at a party where they had brought in a bowl for people to pose on for pictures.
A real bull?
Oh, yeah.
I knew that was going to end up being a real bull.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they live out in farmland. They know a lot of people with cattle. It wasn't that hard.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I got nothing. Jesus.
I was going to make a joke about, like, jerking off the bull, but I really don't want to know the answer.
I don't know, man. Somebody might have gotten drunk enough.
Jesus.
All right, so that was me buying enough time for y'all to think of birthday traditions.
Well, I don't really have any traditions, but when I had a day job, my only tradition was I didn't go to work on my birthday. Now that I write full time, it's like, nope, another day in the work week.
I usually take my birthday off. Last year I went to Vegas just because the timing lined up so well, and I was like, yeah, what the hell? That was a great birthday. Got to go with some friends. Like, we had a nice place. Like, we split the money on, and so we all were hanging out. And God, it was cheap, but it was fun.
I do have a birthday tradition now that I think about it, or I used to, because I was my birthday's a couple of days before bonfire night, which Guy Fawkes night, where we set fire to things and set fireworks off to commemorate the time we brutally murdered someone in public. And I think my dad used to throw these really huge firework parties because he had a kind of a big garden and some shady contacts. So he used to kind of invite all the family around and the neighbors around. So for a while, my birthday parties were just that firework party. So because my cousins used to come up anyway, so that's pretty much all we did was run around a garden while things exploded, and it was great. But yeah, he had that first bonfire night when I was 2 days old. So clearly, he either did not understand babies or did not care. But you know. That's
Maybe he was really excited to be a dad.
Yeah. I've got a baby. Is he sleeping? Well, not for long.
He's got to learn the ways of the world.
Yeah, and this is, back then, people really didn't give a fuck about things like health and safety. And my dad was not qualified at all to be setting off these explosives. And I forget how drunk everybody was back then, because you don't notice it when you're a kid. You just think, the grown-ups smell funny and they're happier than usual. This is great. Nobody's told me to go to bed and it's 11 o'clock. You just think, they're all having a good time. And I'm thinking back to them, and they were wasted, and they were like chucking cans of gasoline on this bonfire, and just how do these semi-legal fireworks, how do they operate? I don't know. Light it and let's find out. Yeah, it was. I'm surprised nobody died, but it was. So that was a good birthday tradition I had.
Yeah, I don't have any traditions, but now that I'm about to hit the big 4-2 in January, and this will be the first year I've been in the same geographical location where I have some friends. I was thinking I might have a hitchhiker's theme party for myself.
That's a fun one.
Yeah.
I assume you mean the book and not just picking up random hobos off the side of the road.
Well, all right, so I'm pretending to have friends. Picking up hobos. Send pictures back to my family. Look, I'm doing all right.
Look, this is my new best friend, Stinky Jim.
Gas station Keith says he's got a lead on an unattended moonshine still.
That sounds like a great birthday tradition. Just sit your wife and kids down. It's my birthday, so I'm going to be coming back with a lot of strange men. So just be prepared for that.
Any traditions with your kids, Bevan?
Oh, well, no, in the past, we just, we've done parties at home usually, and then at the house we were renting before we moved into this one, we had this huge-ass backyard, and so we'd rent a bouncy house and stuff, but they're both getting kind of old for bouncy houses, and we don't have a yard. Well, we got like a 10-square-foot yard now, and so there won't be any bouncy houses, but I don't think we're going to be doing it at home this year. Our kids went to another kid's birthday party at a laser tag place and had a good time, and they both want to do that now, and that's fine by us because less to clean up. And admittedly, the laser tag place did look really cool.
I mean, that's a pretty cool birthday at any age. Like, if I was offered laser tag birthday, I'd probably be like, yeah,
we just did a laser tag birthday last month for my youngest.
Oh, good.
You had the most fun, didn't you?
We kind of do, I guess, an anti-tradition, because I think growing up, my wife and I, we both had miserable, shitty birthdays. So our kind of anti-tradition is to make sure our kids have good birthdays.
That's a good
Yeah, that's pretty good. I'm going to help you recover from my fucked up childhood.
Man, the worst, though, was when we lived in Mississippi for the year, and it was the worst at a number of levels. But my son, we had a birthday party. We invited the whole class. One kid showed up. The the other half Asian kid in his class.
Oh,
And,
man.
Jeez.
And but
Oh.
I mean, I was so grateful that kid showed up because I mean, it was his best friend. So I mean, it didn't totally suck. He was actually really excited about it. But man, fuck the rest of those kids' parents.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, when I was a little kid, I never expected anybody from school to show up because I lived way out in the country. And it was like shit to get to where I lived. So didn't surprise me if nobody showed up. I also never went to any of their parties because fuck those kids.
I remember one sad birthday party I went to where some kid was having like a McDonald's birthday party on the same day as a more popular kid. Yeah.
Oh no.
And of course the more popular kid was having a fun birthday party, but like this kid was having a shitty McDonald's birthday party.
Oh.
And I thought
it was at the same McDonald's.
That's what I thought too. There was like 20 kids and then 2.
Here's the equally sucky part is I was like the lone other kid who wasn't invited to the more popular kids party, but I didn't particularly like the first kid. So I pretty much showed up long enough to drop off a present and just left.
Damn.
I mean, come on, Mom. Like, you know the schedule. That's a rough one. Man, I guess that kid probably, let's talk about the show for when you were a kid. Anybody get any Chuck E. Cheese birthday parties?
Shit, dude, I don't think there was a Chuck E. Cheese within 40 miles of where I grew up.
Yeah, still going with the didn't have any birthday parties.
Yeah.
I don't think I ever had a Chuck E. Cheese birthday party, but I never enjoyed Chuck E. Cheese very much as a kid because I guess I sucked at all the games and I ran out of tokens really quick, and then I went back a few years ago, took our kids, and God, it sucked so much.
Oh, is it bad? I have not been.
The food is gross, and then they got like a salad bar now, but it's all you can eat, but you get like a 4 square inch dish, and just horrible on so many levels.
Well, here's another thing. It's horrible food, but like as you guys know, like 2 of my kids are autistic, and autistic kids sometimes they behave a little off. So last time we went there, whatever kid it was, either my middle or my youngest, stopped in the middle of one of those crawl tubes, which of course are far too small for a parent to like get to, and just started undressing.
Oh dear!
And it's like, get out here! And they're like looking at me like, "Fuck you! You can't get to me."
And the other thing is, there's so many other like places, like better places like that, where indoor playgrounds and stuff. Or they got trampoline parks.
Now there's
stuff.
a ton of better shit. Like,
but still, somehow Chuck E. Cheese is still a thing.
I think a lot of us are still like remembering it from childhood, like when it was like shit, he got the Chuck E. Cheese birthday party.
We went. I don't know if it was a different thing. I think it might be the same company, but we had Showbiz Pizza back in Louisiana.
Yes, it was the same thing.
Ditto. Why am I surprised? I always forget you and I have like the same basic origins for like the first few years.
I was never interested as a kid in going anywhere and doing anything that required organization or for some guy in a costume to tell me what to do. I just wanted to get friends and presents and to be left alone.
It might be fun though to have an adult Chuck E. Cheese party and just to see the look on the workers' faces. What are we supposed to do? I don't know.
They call that Dave and Buster's.
No, but I understand that's a thing. But I'm talking about going to Chuck E. Cheese.
I imagine they call the cops if there's like 5 adults just hanging out with no kids in a Chuck E. Cheese.
We can find out.
I hope they call the cops preemptively in that situation. I want that to be the policy.
We'll all just converge on wherever Bevan is at the time, and he can bring his kids. Then we won't go to jail.
As long as there's like one kid.
I want the dancing bear. Bring him here to me. It's my birthday.
You're like pulling out ones. We're gonna get banned from Chuck E. Cheese just for this episode.
If anybody with authority had listened to us, we'd be banned from so much shit already.
That's fair. Okay, so gentlemen with children, Let me ask you, what's the new hot spot in birthdays for the next generation? What's the show now?
It's probably on the internet, I would imagine.
It's going nowhere and being alone.
Well, like I mentioned, for my kids, so this laser tag place.
Yeah, I mean, laser tag, jump places. I think arcades are still popular.
Yeah, we got Planet Bounce in our town. It's basically just a warehouse full of trampoline surfaces, which is a genius idea.
My kids have been to those. They look like a lot of fun.
Can we go to those as adults? Because that does sound fun.
You can go to them as adults, but not while the children are on it. And I think that's probably for
I agree with that policy.
And just remember, Drew, as adults, we heal much less quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It may look like fun, but what looks like fun 5 minutes later is, oh God, I broke both my ankles.
I'm gonna double bounce all you sons of bitches. Me and John will tag team and send everybody into the ceiling.
I could just imagine that something like that would now make me feel deathly afraid. But I think the last time I went to a fairground, I went on one of the, I guess it's not a roller coaster, it's just basically one of those things that swing you around. And it occurred to me as I was getting on with it with my stepson that that had been there since I was his age. I was just kind of like, I was on this ride and think, wow, I don't remember going on these things and thinking about death so much. Like just the obvious and kind of random nature of, a painful, violent death. These used to be fun, and now all they do is make me believe I am going to die.
You guys remember those super slides, the one which are like 40 feet high? You come down a couple bumps, and the last one you get a little air. And I remember like those were so much fun as a kid, and like I did one a couple years back, and I was like going down, and at the end I got a little bit of air, and I came down. I was like, God damn, that really hurt. I think I just crippled myself.
I went we went kind of a lad's holiday with my brother and a couple of mates once. I guess I was maybe 25 at the time. We went to a water park just because we thought that'd be funny. And I was a big fat fucker, so I went down this water slide. People actually applauding me. It's essentially like a torpedo.
Like, yeah, Free Willy.
Yeah, those things always scared the shit out of me. I was like, no, fuck that. I'll die.
Oh, I love the big water slides.
When I was a kid, I did Action Park, and Action Park was awesome because it was just the thrill that, yes, I might get hurt was great. Nowadays, it'd be like, hey, you want to go to Action Park? Let me check my insurance policy. No.
Yeah, I was always super afraid of heights as a kid, and I still am. But then I went through this brave phase as a teenager, and I used to love roller coasters. And then I took the kids to Six Flags over the last summer, and man, I was thinking all kinds of no. I'm not doing that shit. And we did go. It was a weekend in the summer, so we waited 3.5 hours in line to go on one roller coaster, and that was the only thing we did. But yeah, that was terrifying. But that was one of the minor ones.
Just one of those kitty caterpillar ones.
Yeah.
Just beving on it going, ah!
I will still do roller coasters, but I will admit, when I get on them, I do the second I'm strapped in, I do start regretting all of my poor life's decisions.
Yeah.
It's not the fear that gets me, usually because I'm dehydrated and drinking beer, but it's the sincerely, it is motion sickness that will kill me on roller coasters now. I've gone through too many birthdays, and now I can do roller coasters just fine. I can do dropping rides just fine, but if you put me on a thing that spins, I'm going to be fucked up for the rest of the afternoon.
I really like the spinny things.
Yeah, I can't do them. Like I used to, I worked at Great Adventure as a kid, and doing the spinny things was awesome. Now I get on one and it destroys me for the rest of the day.
Oh yeah.
All right, yeah, I'll go back on that. I think I like the spinning things. I haven't been on one since I was a teenager, so
you might find it's not what you remember. Because I loved them. The Tilt-A-Whirl was my favorite ride at the fair growing up. But God, we have to split our friend group up. Now it's the non-spinners and the people who can do the spin rides. We just all break whenever there's a spin ride. It's all right, you guys do that. We'll go do this. Getting old is
Yeah, I'm
not
not sure I
fun,
could
kids.
handle that. No.
No, it sucks when, like, when something you could shrug off like no problem, and suddenly you're experiencing it and you're like, this used to be fun. Now I'm pretty sure I will die.
Yeah, I mean, I don't approach these things with dread. I just got on it. It became very clear to me all the ways that this could just go suddenly and terribly wrong in kind of, I guess, a dispassionate but all the more realistic for that detail. It's like when I get on aeroplanes, I always think, man, what if something goes wrong? I usually go, well, it'll probably be quick.
That's
I mean,
that's
honestly,
a weird thing. I am like, I have always been super crazy afraid of heights, but one thing, airplanes have never bothered me, and I can't rationalize that. I mean, we went on this the little Ferris wheel they got in downtown Atlanta.
Yeah.
And we went out for dinner there, and we went on the Ferris wheel because we just moved here, and all right, let's get a taste of the city. And I was fucking petrified. My kids were laughing at me, they asked me, "Why are you not this scared on airplanes? It's so much higher." Look, I don't know.
I'm the exact opposite. Like, airplanes scare the crap out of me, but I will get on like a shitty ride. Like I said, some roller coasters I might get on, and when I'm strapped in, I'm like, this is probably not a great idea. But for the most part, not really. I think with me, it's a control thing.
Yeah, I stopped riding roller coasters when I worked at Carowinds, which is the local amusement park here, and I saw the amount of welding they had to do on those roller coasters every year. I was like, no.
Which makes me appreciate, like, 2 years ago at Con Carolinas, you were like, John was like, yeah, bring the family down. You can think of the Carowinds.
Well, that was back when I thought you weren't a big enough idiot to actually get on the roller coasters.
I guess with the airplane thing, you've got advanced feats in aerodynamic engineering controlled by trained and well-paid professionals, and then you've got a roller coaster, which is some British seaside roller coaster, which is basically just scaffolding controlled by a disinterested teenager. So
no, that's not what I'm thinking of. I literally have no justification for my fear of one thing and lack of fear of another thing. I hate air travel, but mostly because it's boring and I have to hang out at airports for so long.
Try also being much too big to fit in the seats.
Yeah.
And also, most roller coasters at big theme parks here, Steve, are so over-engineered that like you would need a natural disaster to pretty much like you always hear like tales about like people dying on roller coasters, and like as I said, I worked at an amusement park when I was a kid, and I can tell you, I would say 99.9% of those are like because somebody did something stupid. Had nothing to do with with the ride.
yeah, we had something in Britain last year, one of the proper places, not the shitty seaside scaffolding roller coaster. It's a proper high-tech engineered one, and something just went wrong, and nobody knew what went wrong. I think they just kind of vaguely said human error, and some people lost their legs. So.
Shit.
I mean, I'm not saying this happens often. I mean, the chances of something going wrong with them, consider they run all day, every day, all year round, must be incredibly slim. But yeah, at the same time, if something could just go, well, human error, you got no legs now, that worries me.
I never lost my legs sitting in my fucking garage.
Yeah. I hate to break this to you, but that's also a situation that's applicable every time you're in a car.
Yeah, but I'm driving. It's my fault. It's not human error. It's Steve error.
You realize there are other drivers, right?
Ah, fuck them.
That's hard to argue with.
No, I got nothing. What are we going to say to that?
Actually, somebody nearly ran me off the road the other day, and it scared the shit out of me. But I used to drive delivering stuff, so I was kind of in a van, 8 hours a day, 6 days a week, and you get kind of very complacent about it, to the point now, when I look back on it, I probably should have been in at least a couple of major accidents during that time. But I don't know. I think a whimsical can-do delivery driver attitude just got me through.
I'm a little horrified looking back to realize I delivered mail for the United States Postal Service for a little while. And the training to operate a giant metal vehicle with no rear view mirror capability was shockingly slim. I mean, an afternoon and a demo course that was maybe 3 cones.
My co-driver was an alcoholic. Sometimes he'd come in and his hands were shaking so badly he couldn't operate the GPS, the touchscreen GPS. So it's tell you what, mate, why don't I take the first shift and you just sleep it off? So yeah, I think I was more, probably more scared when he was driving. Most of the time I was out on my own, and I guess it becomes so normal you forget that one of the biggest causes of death is road accidents.
This got dark from birthdays.
Hey, you can't talk about birthdays without talking about the looming specter of death drawing ever closer.
Happy birthday, you're going to get your legs cut off on a roller coaster.
Truly the birthday message we hope all of you are taking.
Don't get too attached to those legs, kids.
You know, a leg can be taken from you.
You're just one human error away from being called Stumpy.
Okay, so last bit. Let's go with. So let's say tomorrow, one of your books gets picked up for movie, goes to series, goes to whatever. Financial comfort for the rest of your life. Not necessarily our J.K. Rowling cocaine money, but you're doing good. You're doing good enough that money is not a concern in your mind. So next year rolls around, throw yourself a great birthday. What are you going to do with it?
This is going to sound like I'm going back to J.K. Rowling with cocaine, but last time I was at Universal, I hate to say, I had such a fucking good time at Harry Potter World. I would probably just do that.
Yeah, ain't nothing wrong with it, man. That's a pretty good birthday. Birthday at Harry Potter World. I think a lot of people are going to agree with you on that.
I haven't been to Vegas in a long time, so I'd go back to Vegas.
Yeah, I mean, I'd probably go somewhere interesting and sunny, but I'd probably end up doing what I always do and what I like to do on my birthday, just in a more interesting location. So I'll be like, hey guys, I'm going to splurge this year, taking you out to Vegas. What are we going to do in Vegas? We're going to sit in a bar and drink, and you're going to listen to me talk.
I'm going to get drunk at Harry Potter World.
Butter beer.
It's like, hey, less butter, more beer.
As much as I love the beach, my birthday being in winter sort of fucks me on that. So I would go with, I would rent out a ski cabin and invite a bunch of my close friends, handle all the expenses so they would be able to come and just do a great weekend on the slopes with some hot tubbing and some delicious booze to go as well. With
Drew, I will point out, Drew, that since you have enough money to to get through your life, there are countries in this world where it is actually warm in the winter months.
I was going to bring up the same thing.
Yeah, but like thinking honestly, I know most of my friends can't get that much time off, and I'd rather be with the people I like.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I don't have that problem.
Yeah, it's all on my birthday. It's all about me, you know.
I don't know. I've kind of like the travel bug is worn off for me. I'd probably I'd either stay in my garage and work. The thing about being a self-published author and the reason it's I feel so fortunate to be able to do it is because I like writing. I like creating shit, and just maybe send my family somewhere to have a good time, and I'll stay and write dick jokes. But or else I might. Oh man, I'm so fucking cheap. I might splurge and hire a babysitter and get a taxi and go downtown to a fun bar with my wife and drink ourselves shitty and get a taxi back.
I'm gonna splurge. It's gonna be regular Kirkland tonight.
That's never been a thing. And fuck you for bringing that up again. Salt in the wound.
Kirkland Premium.
Man, I've still got we had as I mentioned, we had our housewarming party yesterday, and people were in my garage saying, are those boxes full? No, we're just using them as packaging now. It's been fucking discontinued.
I guess if you didn't have to worry about money, maybe you could for a little birthday present to yourself, hire a private detective to find out what knockoff beer brands they were repackaging as Kirkland Light.
No, I don't give a shit. The whole point of Kirkland Light was that it's 48 beers in a box for like $21. That's the magic.
That's the magic of Kirkland Light. Yeah, I can't help but think they'd still be doing it if they just consulted us for their marketing.
Or listen to our podcast and taken advantage of the marketing we were giving them.
Yeah, no kidding.
Well, as a plus side from this, I guess anyone listening who wants to know what Robert Bevan wants for his birthday, just 40
Oh,
cans.
listen. The whole point is that it was cheap. If you're buying me beer, buy the good stuff. Send it my way. Whatever.
We have to set up a P.O. box for Bevan's beer.
Yeah, or send vacation tickets to his family only.
Guess what, kids? You're making a winter trip to Korea.
All right. Well, I think that is about our time for this episode of Side Quest. Hope y'all had fun, and maybe you got some fun ideas for your next birthday. Laser tag was popular. Also, being alone was popular. I feel like you probably know if that one's for you, though.
Playing laser tag by myself. That's what I'm going to be doing for my birthday.
Zap, I won.
Shut it down. That's the perfect birthday. We're done, people. We're done here.
Mic dropped.
Until next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.